Excuse my crunching. I'm eating. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm eating.
Yeah, my microphone wasn't working. But look, I'm a unicorn. Yes.
You're so cute.
Thank you. I love the attention and validation. Okay, let's share the screen. This screen, yes. Yes. Okay. So I already kind of went through and added some reaction images just to save some time. But okay.
Darkness.
Yes. Trigger warning for violent ideation, murder, kink, and necrophilia ideation. I already added that to the tags here because we tag responsibly. We tag somewhat responsibly. Some of this, I don't always like tagging because but today we tag responsibly. This is where stuff starts to get a little dark. Darkness. Yes, we're aware that the alpha, beta, sigma, omega male theory has been debunked and that behavior only applies to animals in captivity. Translation, I'm aware of this.
Which one is sigma?
Huh?
Which one is sigma?
Sigma male, Hello. Hello. Can I... This. Although my understanding of it was alpha male but hipster.
Huh.
So, translation for this was, I understand ABO isn't a real thing, and I had hoped that by posting this, co-writer would also understand that. This was not the case, but I'm not going to note it in the fic itself.
Okay.
It seems like a kind of a low blow, and especially since I've been playing a little bit dirty in side chat editing. We couldn't think of more accurate to life phrasing that evoked the same feeling when editing.
Man. Omegaverse AU.
Huh?
Omegaverse AU.
Let's see. Okay, and then I'll add the read more right here. Hi, can I please put a read more here, sir, ma'am? I would like a read more. I'd like the read more, please. I like read mores. Okay, here we go.
Woo!
Chapter 7, Absolution. That is a song by The Pretty Reckless. I need my absolution.
By the way, this React series needs to also be a playlist. We use entirely too many songs to not make a playlist.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. You know what?
All the songs that we insert in order.
You know what? I will go back through and do that once we've done the entire thing, because I'm also doing a side chat playlist. But yeah, I will absolutely do that, and it will include the chapter title songs as well.
Good.
An annoying trilling woke Rebecca up the next day, and she groaned as she slowly slid into awakening, forgetting for the moment that she hadn't slept alone, till she went to stretch and found that she couldn't move. Oh no, has she been tied up already?
Somebody has been squished.
Squished?
Squished.
Opening her eyes, she saw that she was all but wrapped in Trent's arms, to the point where if she moved, she'd probably accidentally clock him. Tilting her head back slightly.
She clocked him, right?
I'll add that as a caption. She nuzzled into the crook of his neck and kissed him, whispering, "Good morning, Trent. Time to wake up." Let's see. Whoops.
Whoops. Those keys are next to each other.
Huh?
Those keys are next to each other.
Yeah, it's unlike that time in high school where I was pissed off at the teacher, so I just typed "fuck you," and you're like, "Yeah, those keys are real close together." She had set the alarm.
Real talk though. Although personally, I cannot stand it if somebody is like in physical contact with me when I'm sleeping. But in writing, I just love the trope of like, yes, this character sleeps like a cross between an octopus and a bear trap. The cuddles will be had. They are inevitable.
My new favorite thing is love songs in minor keys. Like, I know this isn't technically a love song, but there's a minor key version of Every Breath You Take, and I live for it. She had set the alarm for 7 a.m., figuring that gave her enough time to wake up fully, eat, head to the office to have a chat with Nathaniel. Oh, they're not opening at 4 today. Good to know.
Also, and by chat, does she mean like just going into his office to yell at him again?
I don't remember. And then head to the courthouse for Trent's trial. Okay, so real talk. Let me just put a disclaimer here. No way in hell would she miss that. Ooh. I gotta do this since he's not part of the story yet. But she so didn't want to get out of bed. She felt so warm, snuggly, and safe. Oh, that is such a mood.
Octopus bear trap.
You know, I just realized that this onesie, it makes me like 100 degrees. So even though I know I'm going to regret turning on the fan later, I'm going to turn on the fan now because otherwise I will overheat. And I love having cute little unicorn head. But later, she had to get moving. Oh, I envy her ability to self-motivate.
Mood.
Trent was one of those people who could wake up instantly and be ready for anything in 10 minutes or less. He also is perfectly comfortable sleeping on Rebecca's floor, so, you know. Oh, and on a prison cot in his storage unit. So, you know, he's just he's a morning person. And that's, like, the scariest thing about him. You know what? I'm gonna add that.
That is terrifying.
Oh, he can also stay up all night playing Scrabble and still have a chipper demeanor the next day. That's terrifying. Like, I'm not sure he's human at this point. But today, he too was reluctant to get out of bed. He did release... Oh, you know what? I'm going to do the immature thing.
Yes, definitely adults. Libris gets a pass, but Despoda, you are an adult. Yes. Yes, that's why you get a pass. Okay, but are we going to go the Cullen route?
Oh man, I love us. So he did release her so they could both stretch out and climb out of bed, and he said, "Good morning, beautiful. How did you sleep?" Morning, people.
How?
Sitting up and stretching, she smiled. I slept perfectly, thanks, babe. Like a rock, actually. She chuckled and looked back at him. I'm using the chuckle fuck one at the last instance of chuckle. Even though there aren't many in this chapter, there's a lot in the fic. And I know that, like, I'm getting on her ass for how many times that she, like, there's only so many synonyms for laughs, but still. Like a rock, actually. She chuckled and looked back at him. How did you sleep? You know, rocks don't sleep, right?
She slept like a bump on a log.
Those don't sleep either.
Okay, but those are idioms.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to switch these. Because I want to do a thing. A very in-character thing for Orion.
That's questionable, but also not what she said.
This will never not be a running joke. In fact, I was just editing a script today where he claims he can't read English, and Epiphany's like, "What do you think I'm writing in?" And he says, "Epiphanies." And she's like, "I'm not sure if you're making fun of me for English being my third language or if you're just an idiot." And then he said something that pretty much cleared that up.
Yeah. The joke is that Orion can, in fact, read. He just chooses to act like he can't.
The joke is that he can read... Okay, so he can read dark glyphs, but he struggled with English, per Corey. But because all the scripts are in English, you know, it just became a running gag. Mm-hmm. She chuckled and looked back at him. How did you sleep? It was the best sleep I can remember, he responded. Yeah, you were in her bed for once and not at the fucking foot of it.
or sleeping in the hedges beneath her window.
Standing, running her hands through her hair, she walked over to his side of the bed and, smirking down at him, wrapped her arms lightly around his neck. She stood over him, running her fingers through the hairs at the back of his neck. I didn't want to get up. Ooh, 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 ooh.
I love that has expanded from top 10 to top 50.
Well, 20 seems too low. And Akuma's in on it now, too. Let's see. Her eyes were warm as she met and held his, allowing herself to feel whatever she was feeling at the moment instead of fighting it. She felt something for him. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm gonna get so much mileage out of these. Best she stop running from it. That's not the feeling she was running from, Penryn.
Is Is Rebecca Bunch the kind of person who runs from her feelings instead of embracing them?
In Oh My God, I Think I Like You, she did struggle with the thought that she was developing a crush on Greg after fucking him for a week and a half straight, so I'll give it a pass.
Okay.
I will note that, though. I really don't want to leave. Yeah. Okay. So you want me to add that?
Yeah.
I really don't want to leave, but the sooner I go, the sooner I can get back. She bit her lip, leaned down, and claimed his lips in a passionate but gentle kiss. Though it wasn't exactly sex she was looking for, she wanted to feel connected to him for a few moments before they both had to go their own way. He gave a soft moan of surprise and pleasure.
And then began reciting Shakespeare.
Huh?
Then began reciting Shakespeare. It is the east, and Rebecca Bunch is the sun. No, it is the east.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. Hold on. Fuck. Okay. What is that monologue I'm thinking of? I had this memorized at one point. By the light of heaven, I know not how I lost him. Ah! Hey. Hello.
I was just finishing the bear who recites his quote.
Okay. Letting his eyes fall closed as he lost himself in the kiss. One hand cupped the back of her head and another one instinctively to her curvy hip. Best wake-up alarm ever, he thought happily. Oh.
I don't, but that's hilarious.
She too lost herself, encouraged by Trent's reactions. Sliding slowly to push him back a bit onto the bed, she straddled his waist and wrapped herself around him as she held him close. His kiss filled her breath.
It burns!
I want you to know, I could not resist the Frollo reacts.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Also, the whole, like, fire thing is perpetually... It's, like, forever ruined for me after, you know. And his soft touch made her tremble as she whimpered against his lips. She could do this all day, and was, in fact, a little surprised to realize that's what she wanted. But somehow, she made herself pull back from him and tell herself to remember how to breathe. Wait. But remember to breathe. He loved how she took charge, and he was definitely ready for anything as she pushed him back and wrapped herself round his body. They were both breathing heavily when she pulled back, and he felt a familiar sort of discomfort particular to men, as she did. He agreed completely. He could have stayed in bed making out all day, and he was gratified to see she felt the same way he did about having to cut this short. He leaned his cheek into her hand and smiled warmly at her. He was literally left speechless by that kiss. Oh, gods! I've given up pink lighting it. You just get to react now. Trent, she rubbed her nose against his and sighed. Ooh, that's a good idea. Water, blessed water.
Let me refill the mug. Okay, I'm back.
I don't want to go, ... but ... I have to. She dragged out her words like a sigh of frustration. You know, that reminds me of my son. He doesn't talk yet. Well, he makes animal noises, but like he'll like throw himself on the ground and kick and scream when it's bedtime. It's very reminiscent of this. Anyway, another shot.
Yeah, that's actually remarkably childish of her.
Huh?
Yeah, that's remarkably childish of her.
Why is this like doing like a double thing? This should not be. Hold on. Why is there? It feels like there's like an extra. Oh goodness. Okay. Hold on. There's some formatting funkiness going on here. I don't like this. I will. You know what? I guess I'll deal with it because I can't figure out how to fix it. She does do the like whining. She like does whining, pouting, and looking cutesy quite a lot, and she does do baby talk in canon.
Oh, okay.
So, and not wanting to go to work. It's in keeping with canon. It's just annoying. Anyway. To be continued later, yes. She reached up, cupped his cheek, and kissed him again. A quick but loving kiss, and smirked down at him.
Smirk, smirk, smirk.
I would have enjoyed it more if it was a hateful kiss. I'm going to actually have Desmona. And smirked down at him. He was so freaking beautiful. The way he looked up at her made her heart stutter over itself. Ma'am. Ma'am, I think you need a doctor. Now, ... I've got to go, ... or we will never get anything done today, ... and you can't miss your trial either, ... Oh, hey, it's the correct number of ellipses. Or, I'm sorry, the correct number of dots per ellipsis. Good job. So saying, she made herself move to stand and gave him the warmest smile he had ever seen. Citation needed.
I take it he's never looked in the mirror in his life?
Oh, that's adorable!
It just doesn't have eyes.
Oh. You did that on purpose, didn't you?
Yes. Sataro disapproves.
As she stood up, he reflexively grabbed the pillow to put in his lap. He was, above all, a gentleman still, despite the flaming heat spreading across his cheeks. Should I do the Hellfire React for that again?
Let's do the blush lady.
But it didn't say blush.
Oh, okay, true, but...
Hold on.
But sure. Frollo.
Yeah. Frollo's gonna get so much mileage. We should... I mean, because we already have a Gaston React, we might as well have a Frollo React, right?
Yeah.
You're so sexy, though. Damn, she giggled as she turned... Oh, okay, I have that. As she turned to go to the bathroom to freshen up. He waved an acknowledgement at her compliment, smiling a little tightly as he waited for his body to behave itself. It took Rebecca...
Waggles eyebrows.
Huh?
Alberto waggles eyebrows.
It took Rebecca all of 5 minutes to freshen up and dress for the day. She put on a dark-colored top that hugged her in all the right places.
As opposed to one that hugged her in all the wrong ones.
Well, yes. I personally don't like tops that hug too tight across the stomach. So, and those are a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna, like, ping her for that. And a black skirt. She did her hair in 2 small side braids and put on just a tiny bit of makeup, smirking when she realized she didn't need any blush as she was already red. She wasn't exactly sure what that had been, but she had enjoyed it. It was making out. You've done that, Rebecca. A lot. When she was done, she went to the kitchen, made them both a quick cup of coffee. Oh, you used the instant stuff. I hope you used a lot of creamer if you're using the instant stuff. And grabbed a piece of fruit off the counter. As soon as she vacated the bathroom, Trent went in to brush his teeth and shave, then back to his room to change into a sage green turtleneck that brought out his eyes and a pair of slacks. So it fit better as one paragraph than two.
Yeah.
Those are both our POVs. Trent ... I'll be back soon ... Rebecca called out as she tilted back enough to peek in at her bedroom. Wait,
Chef tilt?
I feel like that does go there, yes.
Like that would be a classic Studio Chef head tilt moment.
It would.
If this was being animated by Studio Shaft, she would be doing that head tilt right now.
Hold on.
It's on the far left end.
It's far left. Did I miss it?
You scrolled down to it and then you scrolled right back up. There.
Okay. It's under Cloudant.
Cloudant.
She didn't see him. 9 a.m., right? He called back, yes, 9 a.m. as he looked for his favorite belt. Asmoda waggles eyebrows. Let's see. All right, I will see you there, she answered as she grabbed up her purse, phone, and car keys. I'm heading out now. I love you! Every time she said she loved him, it sent a thrill through him. He didn't think he would ever get used to it. I love you, he said, peeking out of his bedroom just in time to see her leave. She thought about waiting to give him a goodbye kiss and giggled as she walked out.
Giggle.
Knowing that probably wouldn't be the smartest idea just yet. Later. Wait, why wouldn't it be the smartest idea? You guys were just kissing. She had such a cute...
She fears that they would forget the goodbye part.
Sorry, what?
Presumably, she fears that they would forget about the goodbye part.
Got it, okay. She had such a cute little giggle, Trent thought. He ate a quick yogurt for breakfast before meeting up with his lawyer. They discussed the case briefly before driving to the courthouse together. So nice of Sebastian to, go to Trent's home and pick him up.
Hmm.
The drive to the office didn't take long, but as soon as she walked in, everyone looked up and stared. Why? Oh, because she made such a spectacle of herself yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. Slowly, things came to a stop as she walked with purpose towards Nathaniel's office, but she paused.
Oh no, not again, thinks all of her coworkers.
But she paused a moment to smile and nod at Paula, saying she would call her. Her smile and nod said that? That's nitpicky. I'm not going to add that. Opening the door to Nathaniel's office, she took great pleasure in seeing him pale as she walked in and smirked at him.
Oh no.
Nathaniel's already pretty pale, though, so...
All blood left his face as he realized, oh no, she's back.
Oh. Could you repeat that, please?
All blood left his face as he thought, yes, as he realized, oh no, she's back.
I apologize in advance. Let's see. It has come to my attention that I have a few vacation days saved up, Nathaniel, so I'm here to tell you that I'm going to have to take them. You understand. She gave him the flattest smile she had as she tucked her purse back on her shoulder. Paid days, no less, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so I forgot she was a senior partner at that point. That was my bad. Okay. She smiled and turned to walk out. That felt ... so good.
Why?
Oh, wait, no. He's dead.
They killed
Kenny
Kenny.
around the same time as Everett. Never mind.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. Great, Nathaniel said coolly. See you in court. Oh, you've forgotten? Paula, Tim, George, Maya, and I have all been subpoenaed in your boyfriend's hearing this morning. I just thought, she's being petty and childish. I'll be petty and childish.
Yep.
Rebecca froze in her step at hearing Nathaniel's voice as she left the office. She turned to glare at him, giving her most sincere but frightening smile. Ooh, Jeff the Killer. Jeff the Killer react. I've been dying to use this again.
Man, I saw this video that was like 4 creepy unsolved mysteries from Japan, and it was like 3 murders and the origin of the death of the Jeff the Killer picture. I'm like, that last one is not like the others. Yes.
Yes, I remember. I will see you all there then. Ta! Gosh, this just got even more fun, didn't it? Nathaniel nodded. Apparently he thinks so too. Stopping to talk to Paula for a bit, Rebecca caught her up on how she was and what she was up to, leaving out the trial for now. Why? Why would she leave that out? She suggested that Paula come over sometime and they could properly talk. One rule, though, she had to be civil to Trent. Do I have to be nice to him? Paula asked, wincing. Yeah, you sound like you're 5, lady. She's probably older than 45, but you know.
Mm.
In fact... Yes, Paula, or at least civil when you both are around me. I get you don't like him, and I am not asking you to. Just be civil when I am around you both.
You can be a huge jerk to him when I'm not looking.
I love you, but I also love him, so I won't be choosing. Okay, hold on. Paula was a bit shocked to hear those words of love flow so easily from Rebecca's mouth, but she agreed. You know, considering how reluctant she was to admit that she was in love with Josh in the beginning of season 1, I can buy that. Rebecca was her friend, and friends stuck together. She supposed she could manage being civil to Trent when Rebecca was around. This sounds like an exchange between a kindergarten teacher and a kindergartner.
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca winked at Paula and headed out. Smiling and feeling lighter than she had in days, Rebecca headed to the courthouse, arriving just a few minutes early. Okay. So the next bit, I wrote, anything that's fucky about it, that's on me.
Okay.
When she got to the courthouse, Trent and his lawyer were already conferring outside the courtroom. Trent's lawyer was about an inch or two shorter than Trent, slim, reedy even, with a delicate fox-like face and short, curly, sandy blonde hair. He wore square spectacles and a nicely cut gray suit, but he looked barely older than 17. I should change that to 18. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
18 does not need to be capitalized, Segan. What are you doing? Rebecca was confused. Was Trent having a law student defend him? Was he that confident, or had breaking his skull twice affected his brain? I'm going to actually italicize and red light that too, because I feel like it should be emphasized. Hello. Hi. Hello, formatting. Please, can you cooperate? Thank you. Was he that confident, or had breaking his skull twice affected his brain? Although if he
mean, all rights it should have. I mean, someone I know got like hit by a plane, and he, still has like migraines and mood disturbances to this day. He only got hit by the plane once, though.
the mood disturbances. Hold on. We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna. Why is this not showing up? Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy, you got a problem with me? Do you have a problem with me? Do you have a problem with me? Is there going to be a problem? Good boy. Yes, there is. Okay. I'm gonna do a different one. Copy link address. Okay.
Bad and naughty blog services get put in the B Wiggler.
Huh?
Bad and naughty blog services get put in the B Wiggler.
What's the BB Wiggler?
The bee wiggler.
What?
Okay, so some asshole was like, bees don't have complicated enough brains to experience sleep deprivation. And somebody was like, nuh-uh. And they're like, prove it. And so they put glued a bunch of magnets to some bees, and then they put the beehive in a frame with some other magnets that jiggles all of the bees every 10 minutes so they couldn't sleep. It turns out,
horrible.
Yes. It turns out, yes, bees are neurologically complex enough to suffer from sleep deprivation.
Okay, I don't understand why this isn't working, but let's see what it. Okay, it's showing up on the actual. Okay, all right. It's just, to me, it's not showing up.
There it is.
No. I think I may have refreshed it for nothing. I should have previewed it first. But okay, I've been having some problems with technology this week. Although if he was still a student, he was a damn well-informed one. She recalled their phone conversation. And was it her imagination, or is there something strangely intimate about the way this boy was resting his hand on Trent's arm?
That seems... I don't know. Is that metagaming?
I wrote it. But, like... I don't know, like, Oh. So this was not part of the original chapter.
Oh, okay.
This was an add-on. But yeah, and there's some others who notice it too. So it could be, but like I guess you could let me know like later on. Like
I mean, I guess if it's combined with a particular like kind of like look on his face, then
he pulls her aside and is really just petty to her. Like, he's nasty. But the thing is it's because I needed a reason for her to feel uncomfortable with him calling her to the stand.
Okay.
Because the way that Bex wrote Rebecca was as being terrified to go up on the stand, but she's a lawyer. Like,
she's a lawyer.
She shouldn't have that issue, but it was coming from Bex's personal issues about lawyers because of something in real life. And it's like, and instead of telling her to change it, I was just like, okay, well, you know what? Sebastian's a lawyer. He's kind of a dick and he's in love with Trent. I can work with this. Yeah,
that's fair.
And Trent beamed her as she approached, completely oblivious to her train of thought.
All aboard?
All aboard the fail road. I couldn't find the fail road react I wanted, but this is the train of Rebecca, this is my lawyer, Sebastian Friedman. Yes, I know, it's really on the nose. I get it. He said. His voice infused with tenderness and affection. Sebastian, you remember Rebecca. What an odd thing to say. They went to college together. Anyway, was it just because Trent talked about her a lot? The boy smiled tightly at her, and she shook his hand uneasily. Of course, the boy said, his voice even warmer and richer in person, slightly more baritone than tenor. How could I forget? I hear you two are dating now. Congratulations. But despite the pleasant sound of his voice, there was something cool and distant about the way he said it. Or was she just imagining it? Yes, Rebecca said, it's been amazing. Trent is perfect, Sebastian supplied, as his cool teal eyes raked over her appraisingly, almost as if to imply that she certainly wasn't. I had great fun with this, as you can tell. Rebecca folded her arms. So, how did you, what firm did you engage him from again? She asked Trent, pointing between them. She's like, Trent's grin broadened. His legal firm represents my tech firm, he said. I engaged him the second I went into business for myself. That didn't tell her what she wanted to know. Okay, but how did you two meet? We grew up together, the boy responded, squeezing Trent's arm. Rebecca cut her eyes to his hand, misunderstanding.
Ow?
Huh?
Ow?
What, ow?
She cut her eyes.
I'll do a Taro.
Yes.
Because
Satara.
Bex uses cut their eyes to, as in like.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but you get on Bex whenever he has something really weird happen to Rebecca's eyes. I'm going to get on you about it too.
That is super fair.
Yeah, I know what she means too. And I know what you mean now.
Misunderstanding her expression, the boy clarified, we've known each other since second grade. Duck's my best friend. Rebecca blinked, clearly confused. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Anyway, he calls me his Duck, Trent explained helpfully. It's derivative of his last name, Maddock, my duck. Oh, okay. Paula, my best friend, calls me Cookie, Rebecca said, the lightness in her voice belying the distrust she felt towards this man who still looked like a teenage. Okay. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna just, okay. We don't need to emphasize how young he looks every other sentence. I'm just gonna put. There we go. That makes sense, Sebastian nodded. You look like you eat a lot of cookies, although personally I would have gone with Miss Brunch. Oh, Sebastian, you're such a dick. Trent tisked and pulled his arm out of Sebastian's grasp. Be nice, he scolded. Sebastian looked wounded for a split second before he composed himself. Of course, my apologies. I've heard so much about you, sometimes I forget we aren't friends already. His smile would have been charming if Rebecca hadn't detected a slight sharkish quality to it. People smile sharkishly in this fic a lot, too.
Then yes, he's going to need that shark react.
I love the shark react. Trent, like I said, Trent excused himself to use the restroom. The instant he was gone, that smile disappeared, leaving Sebastian looking cold and suspicious. I've done a lot for my client. Oh, God, you should not be threatening your client's girlfriend, dude.
Especially somebody you plan to ask to take the stand. And Averna wants to add, you don't just admit that you make people disappear. Averna, he could have still been more subtle about it. But...
Hold on a sec.
There is no plausible deniability in, I make people disappear.
Okay, so I am going to read through this, though. I've done a lot for my client over the years, Sebastian said idly. He's been my best friend for as long as I can remember. As you can imagine, I'm very protective of him. He stepped closer to Rebecca and lowered his voice, tucking an errant curl behind her ear. Part of my skill set includes making people disappear when they inconvenience my client or fail to meet his needs. I like to make myself useful, and I'm proactive about anticipating those needs. Yeah, but anyway, I don't think she would have understood it if I'd been subtle. There were a few times when I did have to point things out, so... She stepped back, glaring at
That's
him.
the kind of situation where I would have been subtle and then add an OOC note. He's threatening her, by the way.
She stepped back, glaring at him. If you're so close, then isn't you representing him a conflict of interest? That sharkish smile again. Are you afraid that I won't get him off or that I will? Oh, Jesus.
Waggle eyebrows.
Who?
Let's go with Averna.
Whoa, her eyes widened. You're not even a little bit nervous about shacking up with him now that he's no longer trussed up and helpless? Sebastian continued, apparently oblivious to his own innuendo. From falling off the roof? Note, he did not read her narration for chapter 1. He's just speculating. She scowled at him. As he told you, that was accidental, she hissed. I was trying to stop him from hurting. Oh, hi, Nathaniel. She waved to her ex with exaggerated cheer. He grimaced and gave a slight, awkward wave back, then tutted and rolled his eyes as Trent returned from the bathroom to join his girlfriend and best friend. Okay, so now we're in Nathaniel's POV. Something charged passed between Nathaniel Plimpton III and Sebastian Friedman the first time they laid eyes on each other. Desmoda waggles eyebrows. Still there?
Seitaro has objections.
I'm not going to do the react, but I will note his objections. The look in Friedman's large teal eyes implied he knew Nathaniel inside and out, an uncomfortable but highly intriguing thought. And something... I'm sorry, I'm reading that out loud and I'm hearing thought, but my brain is thinking thought. And something must have shown on his face because the other lawyer winked briefly at him before heading into the courtroom with Trent, one slim hand at Trent's broad, argyle-covered back. Hold on. Nathaniel felt something stir inconveniently as he followed them in. George is at his heels, as always, for moral support, he claimed. George had noticed the tension between Trent's lawyer and Rebecca. Part of him was pleased to see someone not automatically falling all over themselves when meeting the pretty time bomb, but the way that man looked at his Nathaniel raised his hackles. And the man had ignored George completely, as most people did unless they wanted something from him, but George had noticed him. Absurdly youthful appearance, expensive and well-tailored suit, clearly very friendly with Trent. Not to mention, his every movement was as gentle and graceful as that of a ballerina. No, not a danseur, and yes, George knew the difference, having taken dance classes himself at a younger age.
What's a dancier?
Male ballerina.
Oh, okay.
It's a male counterpart to a ballerina, basically.
Oh, okay.
This Friedman clearly took pride in looking beautiful and delicate, which was uncommon for a man their age. The way he sized Rebecca up, the expression on his face that showed he found her wanting, as though she wasn't good enough for Trent. Hold on. I just had to like note that, but as though she wasn't good enough for Trent, the way he had gotten in her personal space and obviously threatened her, bro.
I feel like he'd be like not squinting at her, but like narrowing his eyes.
Here?
Yeah.
We do have a lot of eye narrowing going on in the fic, though.
Yeah. It would.
Maybe the like elevator eyes, but with a like kind of a sneer.
Yeah. Yeah, like a it. Yeah, a bit like he's looking at something he found on the bottom of his shoe, but with but with the elevator.
Like a Draco Malfoy kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll add that in later.
Okay.
Because
yeah, elevator eyes, but with a sneer is exactly what I was trying to. Yeah.
Because it's like the thing is he's also partially hiding the fact that she's one of the very few women that he's physically attracted to.
Ah.
So he thinks she's hot, but he also doesn't think she's good enough for his Trent.
Right.
Anyway. Yet, if he had feelings for Trent, why had he looked at Nathaniel that way, George wondered, just a little bit possessively. Obviously, Trent wasn't single, so had Friedman been hoping Nathaniel was? Did he have any way of knowing for sure? George hoped not.
Is George this,
I'm gonna add a react real quick. A little bit, like he's pretty laid back and good. No, he can be neurotic at times, but he's pretty good natured for the most part. But he is a little possessive of Nathaniel. In some, like you'll see. I'm gonna make a Trent and Nathaniel compilation vid.
Oh, okay.
Once I get all the clips sorted. And we're back to the stuff co-writer and I wrote together. Full disclosure, I have no idea if this courtroom scene is in any way plausible, as I said before.
I probably don't know either.
Huh?
I probably don't know either.
Sebastian Friedman was an excellent lawyer. He covered all his bases, and that meant subpoenaing everyone at Nathaniel's party who had known Rebecca. The EMT Rufus, who had fished Trent out of Nathaniel's pool and resuscitated him, and the medical staff who'd been on duty the night Trent had woken up from his coma. His argument, so we just have his argument and then the defense rest, which I understand that there should be cross-examination, but there isn't. Because I just kind of wanted to get the scene over. Yeah, okay. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a Corey intensifies.
Yes.
Because I'm literally asking you to accept a hand wave when we don't do that.
Yeah. Accept this hand wave and you will like it.
Huh?
You will accept this hand wave and you will like it. Yes, but put that in quotes.
This is like 4 Corey intensifies for me and 1 for her so far. When we get to the side chat, however. His argument was as follows. Trent had been working legally at Nathaniel. So this is like pretty much regurgitated from the show, but he'd been working legally at Nathaniel's party as a waiter, specifically the turkey carver. He'd been standing behind Nathaniel holding his carving knife, and Rebecca had misread the situation, panicked, and pushed Trent away from Nathaniel. Trent had fallen off the roof and landed in Nathaniel's pool, surviving but heavily injured and comatose. Should I do the song?
I think we did that already.
No, Lee wanted to, and then I said no.
Oh, then yes, we should use it.
Okay. I love this song so much. Add caption, yes. The night huh?
It's still really funny to me that the relationship for Freya and Faustus came from an album where the thanks section, first name on it was God on that album.
Trust me, we're gonna spork the Faustus and Freya RP as well.
Okay.
The night he had woken up from his coma, he'd been visited by Paula Proctor, who'd harassed and terrorized him into giving a false confession to get Rebecca out of jail, which he was only in because she refused to accept the judge's decision to let her off. He called everyone to the stand one by one. Rufus, the EMT, confirmed Trent had fallen into the pool heavily injured and had been unresponsive. Tim and Maya, these are her co-workers, confirmed that Rebecca had indeed pushed Trent away from Nathaniel and expressed relief when Maya had told her Trent was still alive. Like, you saw that.
Yeah.
Anyway, George confirmed that Trent had been working at Nathaniel's party legally as a waiter and had indeed been given the role of turkey carver. He also added that Rebecca was known for being erratic and harebrained, but probably wouldn't hurt her. That's nice of him. Oh God, what did... felt or something. I don't think it was a time bomb. And anyway. Sitting in her...
Ouch.
Sitting in her seat, Rebecca watched as one by one people were You know what? I feel like I'm gonna... Here. Rebecca watched as one by one people were questioned about that night, a night she wished she could just forget. But it seemed that things were going well, though she had blushed a few times at hearing what was said.
No, I was just thought of something.
Huh?
Trent shouldn't actually remember pulling the knife on Nathaniel, because when you are hit in the head hard enough to pass out, you forget the last couple minutes because it doesn't get written into long-term memory. It's still the short term.
Okay, but Sebastian probably would have had testimonies from other people. Like, this isn't... Trent himself has not said anything.
Oh, no, I was just thinking about it.
Okay.
Sure, Trent may remember planning to do that, but he probably doesn't actually remember the couple minutes right before hitting his head. Because that's just...
Which means he shouldn't have been able to give a confession in the first place in canon.
Yes.
Okay. Hold on. I will... How's that?
Yeah. Hit your head hard enough to pass out. You lose everything that's in your short-term memory without it transcribing. to long term.
Without inscribing or transcribing?
It's transcribing to long term. He should not remember the couple minutes before his head injury.
I'm so glad you pointed that out, honestly.
I'm glad I pointed it out too. You know, there's actually like this murder case that where that was actually really important.
Can we discuss that later? Actually, I do want to move on.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Let's see. She had blushed a few times at hearing what was said, and mostly about her.
Yeah. Rebecca, I think we have a react for this one.
Okay, we have multiple reacts for Rebecca. Okay, so we have... For my next magic trick, I will make this all about me. We have Let's Talk About Me. We have Rebecca as the center of the universe here somewhere.
Yes, that one.
I am the reason.
Yes, on the right.
This one?
Yeah.
We want Rebecca the center of the universe?
Yes.
That's a great react. I love this react. Whatever it took to get... Oh, you know what? Because no, she blatantly won't. Okay, let me check this on my phone. Oh, that's my dad. Never mind. I will talk to my dad another time. So, whatever it took to get Trent off, she'd do. Desmona's saying spoiler alert because later he asks for a threesome with Nathaniel and she's horrified and disgusted. So, anyway. Sit through the entire world calling her nuts. If it worked, she was there to support him because she loved him. Okay, we definitely have a react for that. Where are you, Akuma?
Akuma!
Yes. I'm selfless, damn it. Now it was time to call Rebecca and Paula. After some quick deliberation, I'm gonna change this to fucking change this to Sebastian because it's actually kind of weird. I kept like using his last name even after he'd been established. And like if it's from his POV, he's gonna think of himself by his first name.
Yes.
Also, it's really weird to me thinking of him because he's okay. That character is both no longer Mr. and no longer Friedman. So very like this feels very early installment weirdness to me. Okay, chose to call Rebecca first. It came as a surprise to her when out of nowhere she heard her name being called.
You don't call people to the stand unless you've prepared them first.
Oh, Sebastian did not prepare her first.
You always prepare your witnesses.
Huh?
You always prepare your witnesses. That's how you avoid nasty surprises. Which...
Yeah, that was my bad. Trent had told her that she wouldn't need to testify. What was happening? A nasty surprise, apparently. I say that, but I'm sitting here cackling. She made her way up to the stand, though, back straight and looked only at Sebastian as he questioned her, trying not to show her panic at being called. Ms. Bunch, Sebastian greeted her warmly, all traces of disapproval gone from his bearing, as opposed to the very sarcastic way in which I said it. I'd just like to confirm a couple of things with you. Firstly, did you intend to cause harm to my client the night of his accident? No, she answered honestly, her eyes flicking quickly between Trent and his lawyer. I didn't.
Oh, you look directly at the jury. You look at the lawyer when they're asking you the question, and you look at the jury when you answer. Rebecca should know this. She is a lawyer.
She's not a defense lawyer, though.
Oh. Okay, true.
Sebastian acknowledged her response with an affable nod. Good. And can you confirm whether you consider yourself to be on good or bad terms with my client? That one was easy. Good terms. He lives with me now. Oh, that doesn't mean anything. Hold on.
This is why Briar is sporking remote. Sorry, and this is why Briar is contributing remotely. Not because he's in Desmoda's basement, just to be clear. But because yes, he wants to keep it that way. He knows.
Oh, if I hit Control S, it automatically updates for me. Okay, good.
Oh, cool.
Sometimes I accidentally hit Control S when I'm on a web page, and it tries to download the page, and I'm like, no.
Oh.
She felt though as if she couldn't breathe, ma'am.
We do.
Okay. I'm gonna use this one just to be a dick.
And because we're definitely going to get mileage out of it into other reacts.
We are. Especially if we start like doing DOF like this. If we start like adding reaction images to DOF.
Oh my gosh.
This was much harder than she thought it would be. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I actually visited him every day at the hospital while he recovered once I was freed from jail. We have been living together ever since he was well enough to come home. Damn, that felt good to say. She hoped that put a few barbs into certain people there. Why is she even being petty on the stand? This is ridiculous. Also, good, said Sebastian again. Speaking of your time in jail, did you go to jail voluntarily or did the judge find you guilty? Rebecca nearly froze. She had to take a second to really remember to breathe. Okay, another ambulance react. I'm glad we're doing this. Before she answered, I went voluntarily, against the better judgment of the judge, my defense lawyer, and the prosecutor. Yes, that's true. She swallowed. Spoiler alert. Okay, who else do I have who's immature besides Desmoda? I'll use Sin. Because I felt so guilty about the idea that I had hurt someone. It was true. She had felt guilty she had hurt someone. Two someones actually, but they didn't need to know that.
Who was the other one?
Presumably Nathaniel, but I'm gonna give her an I mean it honest for that. Let's see. Sebastian nodded his satisfaction. Well, I think we can all agree that we are glad you eventually chose to leave, he said pleasantly. Oh, he is lying through his teeth. He's a great lawyer. You may step down. Rebecca nodded and stood, making her way back to her seat. She sat down and sighed deeply. Ooh, drink.
Hydrate!
That didn't go so badly. The next witness I would like to call is Ms. Paula Proctor. Paula looked up as her name was called. She walked towards the stand, took a seat, and swore her oath. Ms. Proctor, the hospital staff has already confirmed that you went to visit my client the day he woke up from his coma. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that visit went? I had gone to see if what I heard was true, as I didn't believe for 1 second Trent was in a real coma. Rebecca was in jail and was dead set on staying there. I knew Trent believed he loved Rebecca, and getting a confession from him would see my friend freed. She said so matter-of-factly. She had only been trying to help a friend. And yeah, that's accurate. But yeah. So she hadn't seen the error of her ways till later when Rebecca had actually been mad at her for it.
Because that's the litmus test for...
Oops. Sorry, I'm not. Fuck. For what?
Let's go, because that's the moral litmus test. Okay, fair. Yeah, I wouldn't give you guff about this, but I'm giving Paula guff about it.
Let's see. And how would you say you went about finding this truth? Sebastian asked coolly. He knew Trent well enough to notice that under the man's poised demeanor, he was fighting back some rather unpleasant memories. Trent had the good sense not to outright glare at Paula, but Sebastian could sense the temptation. Paula actually squirmed in her seat, her eyes flickering to Rebecca's, who now knew the whole event, and answered, I knocked on his cast, I clapped and waved my hands over him and called him some bad names. She sighed. That happened in season 4, episode 1. I did not show you because that scene upsets me. Anyway. I'm sure the actors were having a ball, though, so yeah, whatever that's worth. Looked back at Sebastian and continued, and when that didn't work, I threatened to call Princeton to have them take Trent's diploma away. Just hearing herself say all these things made her feel terrible, and she turned redder the more she talked. I'm gonna put blush here, blush react here, because I know I didn't do it earlier, but I'm gonna do it now.
You just scroll past it.
Here we go. We keep getting new reaction. I keep losing track of them, huh?
That lady is so pretty.
Oh, she is. She's beautiful. She had apologized to Rebecca for her actions, but never in a million years did she think she would feel the need to apologize to Trent.
He's the one she badgered into giving a false confession. What feel when I get called up by Akuma?
Sebastian did not commend or affirm Paula the way he had done with Rebecca. He simply continued, then when you and Ms. Bunch first became acquainted with my client in 2015, you were under the impression he had attended Princeton University? No, she said simply. I knew he went to Harvard, same as Rebecca. She sighed softly.
Glug glug.
And continued, I had looked up Harvard alums for her on Facebook. That is how I found him. That was all she said about that, as she saw no need to open that can of worms. Hold on. Like... Sebastian turned crisply to the judge. No further questions, Your Honor, he said. I was going to call Nathaniel Plimpton III to the stand, but I no longer see the need. The defense rests. And there was no cross-examination. You good?
Yeah. That was just my 10 minutes warning. Before I need to call my folks.
Oh, okay. So should we go now or in 10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Okay. It was clear as day that Paula had deliberately harassed an ostensibly comatose patient and had extracted a false confession under duress. It was equally clear that Rebecca had not, in fact, deliberately harmed Trent, and that Trent had not harmed Nathaniel in any way, deliberately or otherwise. Trent was free to go. Paula would pay a fine and serve a small amount of time for her transgressions. And then Trent does this thing that I have no idea is plausible. I don't think it's actually plausible in real life. So, actually, Your Honor, Trent piped up, standing. If it's not too trouble, would you mind if we spoke privately? Rebecca found herself breathing for the first time since she sat down in the courtroom. Ma'am? I feel like I need to make another one that's like an ambulance and then it's take a ride on the wee-woo wagon. And she was so excited things had gone well and that Trent was able to come home with her. Though upon hearing what would happen to Paula, she frowned slightly as Trent requested to speak to the judge privately. He and the judge went to her chambers where Trent ever so sweetly explained that he understood where Paula was coming from. Yes, her visit had been agonizing and traumatic, but he too loved Rebecca and hadn't wanted her to remain in jail. Would it be permissible for him to ask if Paula could just do community service instead? Otherwise, she would risk being disbarred. Oh yeah, Paula had gone through law school at some point in the first part of season 4, so it's it's AU-ish. And Rebecca had told him about Paula and herself volunteering free legal advice at the women's jail. It meant so much to them and to the inmates, and he couldn't stand to think how devastated Rebecca would be if her best friend was disbarred. So, could the judge please consider this alternative? He turned his boyish charms and wholesome demeanor all the way up past 10, smiling a sweet, dimpled smile at the judge. Yeah, this probably would not work in real life. Fictionalized shit convenient fictionalized shit happens all the time, so. She agreed and ordered Paula to do 72 hours of community service in lieu of jail time, and upon completion, this would be stricken from her record. When the judge reread the order, Rebecca actually blinked in surprise while Paula glared openly at Trent. You know what? I'm going to put the "you're welcome" react here.
Yes. That's completely correct react for here.
Oh, there. The idea of being in that man's debt infuriated her. Trent answered Paula's glare with the same innocent, wholesome smile he'd bathed the judge in. So this reminds me of in trade school when people would glare at Loki and he'd do this. Hi, how are you? She walked over to Rebecca and hugged her gently while whispering in her ear, I wish I'd gone to jail. Damn, now I owe that man. I hate the very idea. Okay, but it's either that or be disbarred. Which is really the lesser of the two evils here? Rebecca smirked.
Like a jerk.
Yes, like a jerk. Rolled her eyes at her friend and whispered back, remember, you promised to be civil. Paula pulled back and sighed. Yeah, I remember. She turned to Trent and really looked at him as she nodded slightly. Trent, thanks. Trent answered with a cheery, anytime. Never had a threat been made in such a chipper tone. He strode over to Rebecca and wrapped you know what? I'm gonna have Penryn say a thing here.
How is that one a threat?
He's saying anytime as in any time that you get yourself in legal trouble, I'll be there to bail you out or not. It's very so.
Yeah, I'm not really grokking that one, but okay.
Yeah. He strode over to Rebecca and wrapped an arm. It's very subtle anyway. He wrapped an arm around her waist possessively as Nathaniel walked over to them. Rebecca turned to Trent, sliding into his embrace. Paula turned to leave with an exasperated sigh. We're taking really small sips now. Only to pause when she caught the look on Nathaniel's face. This was not going to be good. Congratulations, said Nathaniel icily. You and your boyfriend both got off. In public, no less. How positively indecent.
Wow.
I know, he's being so childish. Trent just smiled his childlike smile at Nathaniel, pretending he didn't understand the double entendre. Rebecca felt anger flare at the words she heard leave Nathaniel's mouth. Placing a gentle hand on Trent's chest, she stepped away from him for a moment and practically squared up to Nathaniel. Would that work? She's 5'4" and he's 6'2". Would she be able to square up to him?
I don't really think so.
That protective fire was back in her eyes. Hello, Frollo, my old friend. And she smirked a little at the man before her. Like a jerk. What burns you the most, Nathaniel? She said in a voice so soft. Well, clearly, what... Hold on. There we go. That it came out as threatening, but charming all the same. That I didn't choose you, or that I chose him? She let the words hang in the air a moment as she lifted an eyebrow at him. If I had to do it all over again, I would choose Trent. He has changed so much in the few months we had spent together, not like you would know, as you seem keen to be blind to things right in front of your face and act like a spoiled rich brat.
Where is this coming from?
Oops. I don't know, because he is a spoiled rich boy, but he also takes steps to become a better person. But I can't remember if that's season 3 or 4. So I'll just leave your comment as is. She shook her head, not wanting to argue with him at all. Oh no, she doesn't want to argue with him. She just wants to steamroll over him. So keep your snotty comments to yourself.
You first,
bitch.
Hive mind.
What's hive mind?
Oh, just that me and you said the same thing at the same time.
Okay, I'll put it both. As she talked, she walked back over to Trent's side and wrapped her arm around his waist. Because I'm not yours anymore, and I never will be. Hold on.
I'm imagining that she put her thumbs in her ears and wiggled her fingers. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right, I gotta go.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. Cheers.
Thank you for having me. Bye.